welcome everybody. Hey, thanks for modifying the schedule. It actually turned out to work good for a few people, moving us this week from Tuesday to Monday. And I know some others were not able to make that last minute adjustment. So I appreciate you. So many of you that were able to do that. We had some flights that were canceled on my side and it became a bit of a mess. And Tuesday was just out for me. And Stephanie had some other obligations going on there to help co-run that with me. So anyway, just wanted to say thanks and welcome. So I want to dive into the agenda a bit this morning, and we might have some people. One of our ladies that was going to be here was going to be Brittany Olderberg, and I don't see her yet. I think she had a commitment this week, so that wasn't able to work out to do some COVID updates, so we could touch base on that a little bit. I'm not sure which Stephanie is on right now, but we'll find out soon enough. And if that's Bivens, we can talk about PCF and what's going on there. And then we can just jump into whatever is a hot topic for anybody that's that's on the Zoom today. So again, welcome. It's kind of a dark screen out there for me. I'm the only one with an image, but I don't think we have anybody from licensing. Let me jump into COVID real quick. 5 days. That's it. That's the update, right? So there's any questions, comments, thoughts on that? Does anybody have anything at all?
Hi, everyone. Okay, so what we have available, oh, sorry, my screen just went weird. We will, we have our college scholarships available for those who are entering into and it's a college of their choice, going into college, and we're able to offer up to $500 per course for ECE classes. If they're interested, they can contact me. I'm going to put in in the chat the link where all these applications are at. So we'll have the college scholarship coming up. We will have our CDAs, our two different options of CDAs, where we have the 8-week course with an instructor. You meet once a week, and that's coming up in September. I think I've got this right, in March. We'll have that coming up. We have our other CDA program that is more of a self-paced program, but you have a coach there to support you. And that'll start probably by the end of January, first part of February. Again, that application is not online yet, but as soon as we receive it, we'll get that on there, on that link, but not share that. So we have our QIT coming up too in the next month or so. And then we'll be offering that. And again, that's going to be online. I'm trying to think what else we have. I think that covers that CDAs, EQUIT, and the college scholarships. We're doing a cohort of director certification we're working closely with CNCC, and that's offering this. We just started that. We have 28 participants. We'll start that up again for next year. We'll have another cohort coming up, and that'll be offered that'll be opening up sometime in September, October. And we'll hopefully get another nice, great group of people too again. So we're excited about that and seeing how that goes. But that starts tonight. So our cohort starts tonight with that group of 28 people. And I think that about covers that for the scholarship part.
And location to find this. So
let me put that on there right now for you guys.
Wonderful. So we'll throw that in the chat. That'd be great.
And those scholarships, it'll say, like, there'll be a column that states scholarships, and each one is a little bit of a different color, and you'll be able to notice the ones and just click on those. Please share that with your employees and anyone else who's interested in any of those trainings.
Sounds great. I'm going to open that up real quick, and I'm just going to share that screen.
And just to add to that, thank you, Judy. The state is offering ECE 101, and I think, is it ECE 102?
Yes, ECE.
Maybe? Okay. That are free at any college in the state of Colorado. It is reimbursement based. So what Judy was talking about, those could go, the funds that we have for college courses could go towards complementing that as well. So if people are trying to build off of that, or if you have other courses that are needed, not just those, it is for other courses as well towards an early childhood, basically anything. And I apologize if you guys can hear all of that. I have a dog that has treed something outside my window. So hopefully,
To my knowledge, the RFP for the Mesa County early childhood provider has been closed, I believe. I believe they've received some applications, and that process is starting. They're reviewing that. So hopefully there's going to be some successful acceptance of some applications there. If not, then my understanding is that they may open it back up if it's not successfully able to award, if you will, that opportunity to somebody. So if you're still interested in that, there's a possibility. I'm not, how do I say this? Yeah, just reach out. But that's happening. That has happened. That window is closed. So that's what I have from there. Questions. If you have a topic, I mentioned this at the very beginning, we've had some people jump on. If you have a topic that you'd like to chat about, please throw it in the chat or just blurt it out, and let's make sure we cover that. I see we've got a few, there's a few of us on here with different centers. Ladies, Stephanie, Laura, Dusty, do you have any topics that you want to try to dive into from today?
I don't at this time.
Okay. I'm going to jump into hiring just for a minute, and maybe we'll continue on to a different one. But I had this question that I came up with, that I asked an applicant the other day, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I asked her to describe the ideal co-teacher. So if you haven't ever asked that of an applicant, try it out. I think you'll like it. I said, describe for me the ideal co-teacher. And I thought it was a great question in this interview, because I was able to find out if this person knew what an ideal co-teacher was, because I think we all understand what that probably looks like, right? And so it was a great telltale, and she did a great job. And I thought, okay, yep, that's a good question, because trying to evaluate someone in an office is tricky. So do you have any great questions that you ask of your applicants in interviews? Hiring and staffing has always been and always going to continue to be one of the biggest challenges. So who's got a great interview question that you ask?
We always ask, give me your top 3 best traits that you think you possess, and what are your worst 3 traits? It actually helps kind of weed out some lack of organization, lack of timeliness, OCD.
Right.
So we have found it actually pretty beneficial.
So how do you handle this one? Well, I'm good at organization, and I don't like to argue, and I love kids. Let's see, worst traits. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
We get it more than you think.
I know you do.
I just got it the other day with the one, like, she gave me some strengths, but her weaknesses, she's like, I don't know. So it was, kind of concerning. And I know as like an interviewee, you don't want to put like what you might not be good at, but
Right.
it was interesting. I don't know really how to deal with that. I just kind of move on after that.
I don't let them off the hook. Not at all. I'm like, okay, we can talk about my weaknesses, because I have so many, But unfortunately, we only have a half an hour. But here's a couple top few. I take on too much sometimes. I got too many. I'm multitasking. I love squirrels. Squirrel runs across my desk. I am chasing it no matter what it looks like. I'm prioritizing. Sometimes I'm like that. I'll clean up my mess eventually. Okay, those are a few of mine. Let's get back to you. What are a few things that as a teacher that you feel like you could work on to improve, right? So start asking more pointed questions. What do you need to work on?
Yep. And that's kind of what, we've tried, and sometimes parent or potential teachers will shut you down. And honestly, that's concerning to me. I mean, everybody's got a weakness, and I've done the same thing. I'm like, okay, well, I can tell you one of the things I do is I work way too hard and way too much. I don't know when to stop and take care of myself. Tanya's laughing at me because she knows I'm being correct here. But and I'm not gonna lie, for instance, I have been band-aiding a illness forever, and it caught me last week. I ended up with a pretty severe sinus infection and bronchitis and got pretty sick over it. But coaching is one of those ways to draw it out. And if you can get people talking throughout the interview, you can usually get those weaknesses out. And it's not that I'm looking, but I want to know that somebody's being genuine and admitting what, organization is when we get a lot. I don't know how to organize. I can't organize my time. I can't. And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
In our world, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, and you said it's a concern when they give you that response, but I like concerns because they're also red flags, but then they also equal, this is somebody that I may not want to hire.
Correct. And
Right.
you also have to be careful, and Tanya can jump back on here and also probably confirm this. We've had the interviews of people that go on their positives. I am the best at managing time. I am the best at staying calm. I'm the best, and they try to hit those, what I think they think we're looking for answers of, all kids love me. That's a positive. All kids love me. No, honey, not all kids do. But, I don't know. I've always liked that. I actually picked that up from I was in a human resource training years and years ago. And that was one of the suggestions that training had, was ask them what they like about themselves and what they don't like about themselves. Because they're very telling, statements.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta have to help them out with those follow-up questions.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
You got to almost have to lead them a little bit. If
Yeah.
you can't, if you get that, I don't know. I
Even the
can't-
best, you can say, okay, who was a co-teacher you enjoyed working with? All right. If I called Sarah and I said, okay, what did you really enjoy about working with Miss Tanya? What was she really great at? What would she tell me? Right? Just kind of helping them figure out what those hard ones are. Okay, what would she tell me you need to work on? Oh yeah. And it will help remind them of actual things, right?
Yep.
Like
Jog that.
I was always making a mess, or I wasn't prepping, or I needed to do this. And then they start getting real with you. Yeah, just leading them down the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's an easy question to lead. You've asked the question, so it's an easy question,
Yep. Yep.
like even if it's, not to say it a lie, but some people say I'm not as timely as I need to be. Are you like that? You can
Right.
kind of coach some
Yeah.
things along that path.
Here's another one that I would ask. I haven't asked this for a long time. Tell me about one of your best supervisors, someone you worked for, or they were a supervisor of whatever role you're in. Tell me about that relationship. Describe them for me a little bit. And they'd be like, oh, I work with Jan over here at ABC Learning, and she was great, and she would help with this and that. And again, getting them talking, I always set them up with the positive one. And if they're talking, you're learning, right? You're learning about their personality, about how they interacted with them. And she was
The more they talk, the better.
oh man. And then I'd ask them, okay, have you ever worked for a supervisor that was less than? Jan, someone you didn't care for very much, maybe you bumped heads with. Okay, that person right there, you're thinking in your mind, describe that relationship. What was it like working for Jeff over here at BYC Learning? And then shut up and just listen and watch them spill, right? And sometimes it's going to be constructive, and sometimes they are just going to share with you all the things that Jeff did not care about how they performed in that job. Or it's a really great opportunity to try to peer in, because that's what you're trying to do, right? Get them to open up to you and really figure out what they're about. So best supervisor and worst supervisor.
That's a good question. And it's, I like it when, I hate doing interviews, but I really hate the short and sweet ones.
Yeah.
I like the ones that actually go on, because they do get talking, you get to know their personality. I hate calling references. I'm not going to lie. I hate it because in today's world, all you can ask is, would you rehire or would you not? They can't elaborate. And it could be a best friend that has no idea how this person works. And they go, oh yeah, she's great. Or it could be a boss, an ex-boss that there was some sort of disagreement. And although the employee might have walked away professionally with a 2-week notice and just decided to move on, they wouldn't be rehireable. And then of course there's the bigger issues of some, but references to me have almost become a waste of time, because I have gotten glowing references, recommendations, and oh my gosh, they were some of the worst employees I've ever had in my life.
Right.
So I like listening to them talk. We always do a working interview, and have them come in and just spend some time just to try to get to know the personality.
Yep.
I think it's very, very beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of working interviews, and let's come back to that in a second. Miss Judy, let's dive in on the references a little bit. So I share some of the feelings that Stephanie does about calling references. And maybe Judy can help us out with what you can and can't ask, possibly. Obviously, we can Google that. In references, it's no doubt that I've been asked things that probably they shouldn't have asked or could have or can't. I've had very candid references. I've had very would you hire back and when did they work for you? And I've had others that have developed into further conversations. So I'm mixed. I'll share one other thing. So when the school district looks to hire somebody, they send you an email. I know this comes from the school district because I get a lot of these, and they ask all kinds of questions. Okay, so I challenge that, Stephanie. If the school district is sending out an email, which is like a Google form, and they're asking me, was this person timely? Was this person this and this and this? And I call them on it. What's that?
I said, and why can't we ask it? But according to the list, it says we can't.
Well, but I happen to have a Google Doc that I copied all the same questions and I email it out to employers just like they email out to me. The school district has attorneys.
True.
Are you telling me that they're violating all that stuff?
No, they found some sort of loophole somewhere.
Right. And so I'm going right down that loophole with them. If they can do it, they're our big brother, big sister. Why can't we? So I did. We developed just a Google form or what have you. And all I have to do is drop in an email and it sends it out to them and ask them to answer these questions. And I just copied the same questions the district gave me. Do I use it every time? Nope. Should I use it more? Yep.
Sharing that would be awesome.
You bet. Done.
Because I'm with you. I mean, I haven't had a district request in probably 4 or 5 years. It's been a long time, but going off the employment website of what you can ask is about this big of about 3 questions.
You're a lot nicer employer than I am. That's why I get them, because
I don't know.
Looking for better opportunities, nicer smiles, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. We could swap some stories.
Judy, are you available to chat about references?
You guys are making me laugh. I'm sorry.
From an HR standpoint, from a hiring workplace standpoint, what can you tell us?
So are you asking where we can find you guys? So what is the question again? Is like, are you wanting to find somebody?
Can you advise us as employers on maybe some tips or tricks or recommendations on how we might perform job references on new applicants? I don't know if you want to speak to what questions we can ask or can't ask, but how would you advise an employer and someone maybe new in HR on should they call for references? And if so, how should they handle that call?
Well, that might be more of a Stephanie question, but for me, I would definitely say yes. Definitely, you need to check your references. I know there's definitely a lot of people who are interested, and we're trying to build that workforce up as we speak. We still have individuals that are coming in all the time wanting to get into early childhood. They just don't have the experience yet. So at the Workforce Center, they have those applications there for people who are interested in early childhood too, and they cover that. And there's a great resource over there at the Workforce Center with applicants. But if someone's applying for to work at your center, you definitely need to check the references. And they need to come in there wanting to be with kids and enjoying the time with children. And I think it was Stephanie earlier said, I always think I've been in the education field for 20 years, and I always thought every child loves me, but she's right. Not every child's going to love you. Unfortunately. And I think I'm a great teacher, and I think I'm a very kind teacher, but there were times that, we butted heads and stuff. So but to reach out to those resources, I can start looking into, I haven't completed lists of people who are interested in early childhood, but that might be something I need to look into and helping you guys develop your workforce. Because I know there is a shortage, and people are probably moving around from place to place too, whatever works best for them in a sense. Because you want the best there at your center, and you want someone who enjoys early childhood and wants to be a part of that. But yeah, that's, and finding those individuals out there. I don't know if anybody does post ads or post anything. I think on our end, if you're still looking for individuals, let me know. And, maybe there's something I can do to help you guys find those individuals for you.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, we're definitely posting ads, and we've talked a lot about how we do that, some on Indeed, some through Facebook, some through, obviously we can list ads through Connecting Colorado as well. But yeah, if you have questions or need some help with that, reach out to Judy.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, you bet. I'm going to share my screen real quick. So I just dropped in the comments, Stephanie, my survey, and I'll show it to you real quick here. And here it is. So I can simply send this to somebody. What I can do is I can change the name. I can put Amanda on this one, and then I can send it to somebody's email, right? So I think what I've done for you is I've put it in the chat, and if you click on the 3 dots up in the corner, and you can make a copy of it. So I would recommend you make a copy. We care. Cal staff reference. If you do that, now you can use this for yourself. And obviously you're going to want to change the logo image up here from Discovery Kids. And so Stephanie, give that a shot and see if you're able to use this and try it out on, one of your staff, or try it out on Tanya or something like that, and send her one and see how the results come back for you and everything. I'm looking to see for the share feature. You want to make sure it's not shared with anybody else. So, and there's responses and settings in there as well. So anyway, there you go. That's for you, Stephanie, and anybody else that wants to utilize that. So,
Love it. Thanks.
yeah, you bet. Um,
No, hiring is the hardest. It really is. It's, years ago we had plenty and you grew them and you staged them, and
right.
now I not gonna lie, what you get is very slim.
It is tricky. We're definitely in 2022 making a new commitment, a refreshed commitment, a conscious commitment to try to keep our staff. It's like, what can we do? We're trying to really push those wages as best we can. We're trying to do some other stuff. And I think, Stephanie, for you and me, we have a lot of similar characteristics and some of those as to how we relate to our business. You've got a right-hand gal and I've got a right-hand gal and a right-hand guy that I really lean on a lot, and more so now than ever. And so sometimes it's having someone that has new and fresh ideas. I'm gonna share one with you. Mr. David has been communicating with one of our parents who's a chaplain at Family Health West, and he focuses on stress management and works with doctors and nurses and all kinds of individuals throughout Family Health West on these trainings and stuff. So David took it upon himself to host one of these. So this parent of ours came in on Saturday. We had about 12 staff that showed up, and it was an hour to 2 hours. And I was like, I wonder what this is going to be like. So immediately I'm thinking of, like, okay, we're going to do some yoga. We're going to do some meditation. I was watching some Richard Simmons YouTube because I thought that's probably the outfit I should show up in. And I actually had an outfit picked out, but I chickened out at the last minute. And I'm kind of glad that I did. It was a fantastic training. The first hour went by like that. And we were like, oh, we're taking a break. And everybody hung in there, and we went another hour, and he just talked about we talked about stress in our field and the staff. And I'm just kind of looking out of the corner of my eye, everybody's like, wow, this is really nice. There was some venting, and he just kept bringing it right back and talking about stress and acknowledgement and parents and kids and all this stuff. And it was really great. Huge kudos to David for putting this on. And, but so I'm going to bring this guy back to a teacher workday we have on President's Day on February 21st as a guest speaker there. And so that's one of the things that I'm like, hey, that we're moving in the right direction, right? If we can support our staff, help manage stress, acknowledge stress, figure out what we could do to help them, that's something new we have never touched on or done before. So if anybody's interested, I'm going to put his name over here in the chat. His name is Kevin Watt. I think it's just W-A-T-T. He works, I'll just put, he's a chaplain at Family Health West. If you want to reach out to him, have a conversation, great. He didn't charge us anything. He's a parent. He said, I'm just going to do this for free for you guys. So I imagine they would in the future, if you connected, but I don't know, just one resource as far as staffing. How do you keep them? How do you keep them showing up? How do you keep them happy? I go back. Go ahead.
Sorry, Kirk. No, that's something actually Tanya and I have talked about. We spent some time in December talking. I fired for the first time in several years an employee right before the holidays. And it just got too much. And I don't typically fire. I really don't. I try to work things, but this one, it was done.
Yeah.
But Tanya and I sat and talked about exactly that. I mean, I've focused even this last year. We kind of started focusing on way to retain, because there is such slim pickings. It's not as easy to say, whatever, just quit, leave, because you don't know what's coming behind, and door 2 might not be as good as door 1. Yeah. It might be better to work with door 1 and try to get it trained better and coached better and whatever before you exit to door 2.
Yep.
But that's the topic Tanya and I spent, like I said, a good time talking about in December of, I've offered for many years vacation. I pay for all holidays that I close the building, kind of as a little bonus to everybody. you know, and I just have another, you know, list of things that I try to compensate and what to do. And I don't know what else, as you know, we have a restrictive budget.
Yeah.
There's only so much money that comes in based on your kid count, you know, or your supplemental programs that you're involved with,
Yeah.
you know. I got told by an employee who quit in December that she would rather work for Taco Bell, who's paying her over $15 an hour,
Mhm.
you know, than, and she wasn't even qualified. She was an aide. So she definitely was not making top dollar with me. She was an aide.
Yeah.
She was in process of her CDA. I think she quit long before she quit that process, but never told me about it.
Mhm.
But how do you compete with Taco Bell and those other places paying $15, $16, $17 an hour?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, we have to, right? And
we have to.
we
Yeah.
didn't have to before because minimum wage was what they would do, but they can't keep staff either. I think you're not going to be able to compete with them monetarily, especially for an aide, if they're going to pay them $15.50 an hour, right?
Right.
'Cause we're not going to do that. We can't do that. But what we can do is compete. I think I can compete with the work environment at Taco Bell.
And that's what we've tried to do, is
Yeah.
compete with that, hours. You know, each one of our employees, I give, even my full timers, I give a half day. Everybody has at least a half a day off from me during the week to go run their errands, to hang out with their kids, to go do whatever.
As long as everybody
And-
shows up.
Yeah, yeah, there is that caveat.
Yeah.
But you know, everybody's scheduled for a half day, and that's honestly been a huge boost
Mm.
in morale. You know, I've been able to call an aide in and cover a classroom or whatever I need to do, shift this person or whatever, to give everybody that half day. Obviously it doesn't affect my part-timers because they already have a part-time schedule, but my
Yeah.
full-timers, it's nice, you know? And I guess that's some of the stuff we've been trying to do to help boost morale, keep them
Mhm.
around. You
Well,
know,
we're doing like team enrichment stuff once a month,
Mhm.
which they don't all show up. Well, what do you do? It's
What
at
does that
least
look
there
like?
for those. Last month we went to the escape room and did
Mhm.
an escape room.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This month we're gonna go bowling. So just like things like that, we're trying to just something. They stated that they wanted more, you know, kind of morale
Together.
and together.
What did you
And
call that? What did you call it? You do it what every month?
team enrichment.
Team enrichment. I love that.
We, you know, and then I had some, like during the beginning of the school year, we didn't go anywhere, but I put challenges out around the school. You know, I need this area. I picked 5 different areas or 6 areas. I guess I had 6 areas. And I said, I need teams to form. You choose your team, pick an area, let me know. And then we're going to bring a neutral person in, look at the areas, and whatever team wins, I'm going to buy lunch of your choosing, wherever you want to go.
They decorated it. She missed that
Yeah.
part. Like
Yeah.
they
So
decorated an
What are they
area.
looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. They decorated, they decorated these areas for us to get the school, you know, dressed up, ready to start the school year.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how well they all came together and, you know, started. And then we had 2 teams that they said they were there, like they fell apart, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But so we've done that. We did a secret Santa. Well, it wasn't secret Santa at the time. It was like a white elephant, you know. We put out some characteristics. What do you like and what do you not like? And they had to draw names. And then it was, you know, go find something for under $20 or, you know, a menagerie of things, whatever, for your teammate. And it was kind of a white elephant kind of thing. They really liked that. That was a cool one. Everybody liked that one pretty good. And it was kind of crazy because there was some that came back that you do that, you like that. I mean, it was a way to get to know them, you know,
Right.
outside of the work environment kind of thing. So, you know, just kind of something to, I don't know, bring them together to where they're not such at odds, because I have a pretty unique group that I don't see a lot of them intertwining outside of work, you know, their
Yeah.
personalities are pretty unique.
Yeah.
But it's helping, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to jump on the getting to know your staff. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen again. We have this Google document. It's called a new hire packet. And I guess now we're going to call it a 2022 new hire packet. So this is what I send an employee when when I hire them on. And it has links to, you know, all this like CBI, and there's health form, and it has instructions in here for them about their letter of hours and all this good stuff. But the next tab is my favorite things. And so here we are asking them to give us all this information: restaurant, fast food, meals, candy, fruit, what have you, coffee, lotion, all this kind of stuff. And this is a little bit of a work in progress, but when they get hired on with us, they give us this information. So we have it. Now, for example, all right. We also have a place on here for picture and bio. Again, a bit of a work in process, but here's some of the ideas behind this is Teacher Appreciation Week. We can take these that they've filled out and we can hang them up for staff. We can hang them up outside the classrooms for the parents. So the parents can choose to spoil them with a gift card or with this and that, and they know a little bit about them. Their favorite candy is candy corn, so that's what they get maybe from a parent. We do have these where staff have handwritten them, and we have them in a book, a 3-ring binder, 1/2 inch at the front of both centers. And so parents can actually flip through there to find out about a staff member. So if, for example, we're trying to celebrate our staff a little bit differently on birthdays, instead of gift baskets, Kim and I were chatting the other day about, I met her 18, 19 years ago now, and she was working out at Stanford. She was a single mom of 2 and broke. Single mom working at a preschool, 2 kids. Working somewhere between 8 and 12 hours a day. Is there anybody else like that in our business? Sure there is. And so we're like, instead of giving them a gift basket of stuff, a mug and socks and this and that, let's give them a $25 gift card to Walmart or City Market, because they can go get socks and a coffee cup if that's really what they want. But that would cover a couple of meals for a single mom and 2 kids at City Market. Let's really be more thoughtful in our gift giving. So instead of giving them trinkets. So we've done that. We also want to celebrate their work anniversary. So in the work anniversary, we talked about doing the same thing, another gift card. Another gift card, and maybe just a simple, happy anniversary letter, a thoughtful one that people can sign as well. Here's the other thing, kind of on your team enrichment that you're doing monthly. So we thought about celebrating all the staff birthdays each month at the same time. So all of the January birthdays, we celebrate them one day to catch everybody. And we do that with lunch in at the center. So we've all bought lunch for our staff, sandwiches or pizza or something like that, right? But what if you had a sign up at the front of the center for the next 3 months out, or maybe you have 12 months, and you allow a family to sponsor the staff appreciation lunch at your program? So we all have a budget to work with. And I have families that buy us lunch occasionally or go over and above because they have the ability to, and they're very appreciative. But it's a way of letting your parents help you celebrate staff. So you do that, you have 12 months out there. Let's say the next 3 months, the Johnsons sponsor your lunch on January 15th and the Thomases sponsor it on February, and nobody sponsors March. So you sponsor March, and you put down We Care a Lot is the sponsor for March's staff luncheon. So just a monthly lunch when it comes in, you can celebrate birthdays that time. You can recognize with staff. You can share those birthdays with parents. I know for the holidays, David sent out an email to our parents, says, hey, this book is up front. Feel free to look in there if you're thinking about getting something for one of your child's teachers. And within days, we had parents coming in, grabbing the book and standing there looking through and taking a picture with their phone. I thought that was a great way to kind of celebrate staff. So those are just some ideas.
Those are good ideas.
I love your idea about schedule everyone off for a half a day. And yeah, we've got a lot of staff. We have staff that do 410s, wouldn't apply. We have staff that have that, but now it gets me thinking about that 7:30 to 5:30 staff with an hour lunch going, yeah, we need to try to find that half a day off, which is great.
It does. And I have, I do the same. I have one employee that works only till 1:30 on Fridays because my agreement with her was to let her off to get her older kid from school, so she doesn't have to come back after she picks her up. So that's her half day.
Yeah.
So it was kind of built into her original hire schedule, but yet honestly, she's out the door by noon, usually on a Friday.
Yeah.
And she loves it. She gets to go home with her little one that we have at the school. She can take a nap. She gets the big kid. She spends the afternoon with her kids. But then I have those other ones that work, I have one employee that she works 8 to 5:30 almost every day. And I'm sorry, but that creates burnout.
Yep.
That's tired. Yep. So building her days are Tuesdays. She gets a half day on Tuesday. And so she's gone by noon and she loves it. It allows them to go to the bank, go to the grocery store without their kids, go make sure dinner's ready, whatever it is. They really, really have enjoyed it. And you can tell the weeks, like last week, we had a teacher go out with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And
Step 3, not all with COVID, but 3 teachers out last
we had 3
week.
teachers out.
We all knew that's what that meant. 1 with COVID, 2 out because they're out.
Yeah, 2 out, 1 with COVID. But anyway, so it's really funny because Tanya and I get I gotta stay when they knew it was their half day, and I'm like, okay, we know the drill, but it's kind of nice to see that they look forward to that's something that we made a right choice on in giving. And making sure they had that time.
Yep.
So
I kind of like to step in for just a moment about, you guys had these amazing ideas and great opportunities for your staff. I'm kind of going towards the educational part of it now. And I don't know if they know about, but I know when I was working at a school and they said, we're going to cover half your master's degree. That was a really big incentive for me at the time, knowing that they're going to pay for half of that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we're a resource for you guys. If you want to, throw that out as, something that's like, hey, if you want to stay with us, we have, I know where we can get you scholarships to continue education. And I don't even know if you have the resources or the time to do this, but maybe because it's not only working full time and a lot of them have kids at home and the weekends are short, giving them an opportunity, kind of like your half days, or maybe giving them a couple of hours out of their day once a week or something to help, just take a moment away from the kids and to study or to take those classes or whatever during those times, giving them those chances of continuing their education. And where we have the money to help you guys with that. And then maybe you can give them the time, even if it's 2 hours a week, maybe that'll work. Again, I don't know what your resources are and your time is. So
no, and I've actually taken advantage of your programs quite a bit, Judy. I help, and I'm also an early Head Start site. So between Early Head Start and the partnership, I have been able to pretty much succeed at getting every one of my employees LEED certified with their CDA, some with credit from college because of the scholarship programs. Tanya actually went through her entire director's course pretty much on scholarship. She is working towards her bachelor's now and has some other opportunities to get some of that reimbursed for her as well because of those scholarships. I also give all of my staff a bonus when they complete that I provide. I also provide my staff, because some of them don't have computers. I know that sounds weird, but they don't have their own personal laptop or access. So they get time to, during lunch, if their chores and their, work duties are done and their kids are still sleeping, sit down and work on your schoolwork. I allow them to print at my school, so they use my resources of printing and paper. You know,
So it sounds
to-
like you're already doing all that already.
I do.
That's great.
because it's a
That's
big deal.
fabulous.
They don't want
It
to go
is a
home
big
and work
deal,
on
yeah.
school, you know, after they've just pulled a 10-hour day. They don't want to go home and work on it.
No,
So-
I know, yeah.
And then they have other people around them that at work have already taken that class, so they can go,
Mhm.
I'm stuck on this. What do they want? What are they looking for? How can I put this together? I can't tell you how many times portfolios have been bounced from house to house and copied. I'm not gonna lie. You know, because they don't know what form they want on this or what form they want on that. So
Right. Well, that's fabulous. Yeah, I just think, I know that, and for anybody else I've talked to, that if I continued my education, I stayed in the field and I enjoyed it even more, the more I've learned about it. And if we could do that for those individuals, just, yeah, get your CDAs, and then let's try to your associates, and then let's work for our bachelors, and like continue on like Tanya's doing. That might help keep those people in the field, knowing that they're valued and that, we want to take care of them.
All right, I'm going to put a Directors Network plug in here. If you are watching this on Facebook, that means your face is not here today. Join us. Get in here. Look at this. We're having a great conversation. This is a great conversation, and be a part of it. So please join us, Directors Network, second Tuesday every month, 1:00. Because the more we collaborate, the more we share ideas, everybody's going to benefit. And we're all taking notes. We're all sharing. So please jump in. And Judy, you talking about the scholarship. So on my 2022 new hire packet, I created a new link, staff scholarships. And so I'm going to present that as a benefit for working for us. Here's some scholarships that we're going to be able to help you apply for, right? And by helping you, we're just going to give you Judy's email and off you go. Doesn't matter that we care a lot, or Discovery did, we're not responsible for those scholarships. Collectively, we are, because we've been asking for them, and all of a sudden here comes Judy, right? And the scholarship. So, but to present that. So I just hired someone today, and had a fantastic interview with her on Wednesday. It lasted an hour with about 7 interruptions. And we got done. I go, hey, we got to wrap it up. She's like, oh my gosh, it's been an hour. It literally felt like a 15-minute. It was a great interview. Scheduled a working interview for this morning. But part of what I am thinking is, I want to, at that time when we hire, I want to pitch those benefits. And I don't think we get good. I'm not great at explaining the benefits. Like, she doesn't have any idea she can earn paid time off. She doesn't have any idea of a lot of other things, because you got to get organized and have that presentation, right? But staff scholarships, hey, if you're interested in expanding, because she's got her integrative studies bachelor's, but she's going to CMU in the summer to get her master's in education. And so I'd like to be able to throw those in there. So I just threw that link in there on our document. It'll come up next time for sure. Stephanie, you said you had to fire someone before the holidays. Got it. I had that same experience this year.
it was awful.
It was awful. This was someone that was with me for a long time. I remember clearly our whole family showing up at Christmas 4 years ago with the Christmas tree and presents for her and her kids. So near and dear to my heart, but I had to cut her loose because she couldn't grow with me anymore because of just where she was in the rut with me. So here's what I did is I wrote her letter of hours and said she is great with kids, because she is. She's great with kids, loves kids, would never take that from her. From an employment standpoint, we just couldn't go any further because we just continue hitting the same roadblock. And gave her hours, copied everything in her file that she would need, literally said, this is everything you need. You can walk into any childcare center in Mesa County as a lead teacher with your experience, and they'll have you start tomorrow. And because that was possible, that was true. And so hopefully someone that she walked into and got that next job with was the better employer for her. So if you've got to cut somebody loose, sometimes, and they're all unique. We can think of many others that that I didn't have those sentimental feelings, but I did in this situation. And I felt better about that and gave him that little bit of an encouragement, sending him off prepared.
We've tried, and this is something Tanya and I are going to work more heavily on, I think. And I've learned a lot because over the last 2 years, I've had a lot of girls go through CDA. One of their issues is I'm getting lists of stuff. I need my CPR. I need this mandatory training. They don't keep track of anything. So we started last year providing binders for everybody so that because I give everything back. I scan it in my network. I give it back, the original back. And having them put together a binder, that experience binder, whatever you want to call it. And I can't tell you everybody has done it, but I know quite a few have. The girl that I let go, honestly, I let her go because of the drama she was causing at the center.
Yeah.
I could not, it didn't matter if it was me or Tanya or another one of my teachers who has been with me for 8 years now. It didn't matter who it was. She argued.
Yeah.
It wasn't fair. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. She would come to me and say, I need more hours. I'm not meeting my bills. Can you give me more hours? We'd look at it. We'd give some more hours. Then it was, I can't work all these hours. You're taking away time from me and my private time and my daughter. And I mean, it was just drama after drama after drama. So with you on the sentiment of, I've had those heartstring pulled, of people leaving. And then this one, sayonara. It was hard just because it was the holidays and it was a really rough moment in time. Just for the time of year. But that one final argument was enough. And I just couldn't handle the drama no more. But I agree with you in, that's one of the worst parts is trying to set them up for success of here's all your stuff. And so that's where we kind of started the binder thing of here's a binder. I'm giving you a binder with tabs. Let's put this together. You can keep it here, keep it in your locker. Every time you get something or take a training, put it back in there, So we're trying to help them in a weird way create their own CDA portfolios and keep building on it. So we, again, they can walk out of us with everything they need to go be successful somewhere else. Because I have had people leave that needed a change of pace, either, from me or from just the field, for a temporary purpose.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, you have one of my teachers, she left you too. She went to the district. She was one of your district departs.
Yeah.
But she was wonderful. She was one I was sad to see go, but loved that she stayed in the field.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
but she was grown with me. She was done with me,
Yeah.
I couldn't take her any more.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Understand.
And I know I've been kind of quiet today just because there's chaos in my house. But I'm working from home today. Anyways, I wanted to put it out there. When we first started with the CDA, we helped them with that portfolio and put that kind of staff packet all together in one with file training. If that's something you guys want to see again I know like with some of the self-paced CDA coaches help them with their CDA portfolio. But then with our Mesa County CDA, they could have the file training and be able to create those if that's something that you guys feel like would be beneficial for us to do again to kind of help prepare them for the things that they're going to need instead of it being you. That's something that we could implement again. And, as Judy stated over and over again, we have funding for those types of things. If that's something that you would think is beneficial. I wish Lauren was still on here because we created a document that was really handy for pushing that envelope back onto staff duties, but it was a document that it like allowed her staff to track like, oh, when is that next thing? When do I need CPR again? Like things like that would help alert them so that they don't fall behind of like, I can't remember if that's a 2-year or a 3-year, and when is that due again type of document that could help them maintain that portfolio. Because I do hear quite often directors that you guys are trying to manage that and keep their files straight, where I'd like it to be the flip, where your staff are like, oh, I need to get that, and then that's expiring in the next 2 months or something like that. So if Lauren jumps back on, she has that document that would be pretty helpful, I think, that I'm sure she'd be willing to share, but it was a nice tracking.
He has that
tool.
document now. Are you saying that you don't? Is that something you can drop in the chat?
I can sure search for it.
And if not, within a couple days, this will be posted on Directors Network. We could drop it in there as a comment. So maybe if it's not here, we can drop it in that on Facebook when you get a chance.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I have a document as well that I created, and I can email it, and then Kirk can post it, but because it's not through Google, it's just an Excel that I created. And it's basically the same thing. It says when you took a class, when it expires, and how to get to it. You know, for my staff, I pass it out frequently to my staff of take care of your stuff, you know, when it's expiring, you know, kind of thing. The crappy part is, I'm not going to lie, I'm still chasing documents every month or two.
Sure.
But it's something that I do have a couple employees that are like, oh, this is expiring. Here's my date for my physical, you know, so I can document it. I use auto paychecks, which I'm sure other people do. They have a wonderful module that you can put all your required trainings in. It has email templates. It emails the employees all the time. And what's great about it is after it's expired, if I don't have a date, say for their physical, it says you are suspended. And I will suspend my staff for missing those marks. And I've done it actually. And it's amazing how quick I get them then. But auto paychecks really this last year, because I only started with auto paychecks last January, and they introduced me to that module, and it is fantabulous.
So you went and set it all up. You put all your trainings in
Yes. Yep.
there. Okay. So we jumped in auto paychecks, been there for a year and change, last November. So a year and a half, almost. We were going to do that. Let me share with you. Here's an example of how we track ours.
And I'm not saying I do still have my paper Excel spreadsheet that I keep.
Right.
But yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, so this is ours. It's a Google sheet, Google Doc. And so we've got our staff, we would put their name here. And we've got, their continuing education. We track their social emotional. So it's just the same spreadsheet, right?
Yeah.
Spreadsheet's a spreadsheet. The difference is that when they're 30 days from being expired, it automatically turns pink. And if they're expired, it turns red.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got some formulas inside here, tucked in here that creates those shaded colors for us. So all we have to do is look here and go, okay, does it look good? We know we've got someone to chase down for these two, and these two, we don't have to keep looking at those. So I like the color coordination we did on these. We can see fingerprints if they've been cleared. We put on there like the 5-year background, if that's been done. There's CDA expiration. So it's just a spreadsheet. But this is what we use. And when I was considering importing that stuff into auto paychecks, the question I had was, or the fear I had was that there's no way I'm going to be able to look at a glance and see something like this, something where I can see everything and I can see who's got it, who's missing,
Yes.
who's good. I can look at this and in 30 seconds, I'm like, okay, I got 1, 2, 3 people with expired trainings. That's it. And I have 2
Mhm.
others that are 30 days out. So I talked to 5 people and I'm done.
The auto paychecks that I like, it's created me the less reminding, because you can set up your reminders through auto
Yeah.
paychecks. Like my first one starts at 60 days. Your mandatory reporter is going to expire on this day. It sends it again at 45 days. Then it sends it again at 30 days. They get down to a week. It says, we still have not received, you will be suspended. Then they send a final one the day after their expiration, and it says you have been suspended until this is received. I'm doing less follow-up,
Yeah.
and that's the part I like. I'm
Okay.
not running. What I don't like, and I'm with you, and that's why I still have Mike's spreadsheet, is I don't have a way to glance at it and go, this one, and this one are, are missing.
Yeah.
Auto paychecks, you can, with all those reminders, set how many reminders you want to see.
Yep.
So I have it set to email me at 30 days. So I'm on, not that I don't have my spreadsheet, but I'm on alert of, oh, Tanya's about to expire her physical,
Yeah.
and then I don't see another reminder until they get the suspended email. And then I get it. Now, the cool thing with that is sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I'm out of the office. I didn't get to it. They do have it. Tanya, for instance, I have not stepped foot in my building since the Wednesday before Christmas. I have worked remote for the last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Tanya has her physical. It's at the office. I was not there to get it from her. So, and I was out of town. I didn't update auto paychecks. But when I saw that suspended email, I was able to respond and go, I've got it,
So when they turn that in, when Tanya turns in her physical, you still have to, an admin has to go into auto paychecks and
And update.
update the date that was done.
Correct.
Got it. And
Yep.
then that's reset. And then, so I understand that, but in my mind, yes, I'm have a hard time getting away from this spreadsheet. I would have to update auto paychecks and update the spreadsheet.
Yep.
And then I'm done, right? Then we're done.
Then you're done.
So
And
it's really
and I've
one
done this-
extra step, updating auto paychecks.
Yep.
For the sole purpose of not having to remind staff, as I see it. That's the only purpose
That's the only
then
purpose.
that you use it for, which is a good, because you set it up
Yep.
one time, but again, it's that extra management. And I thought,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well,
And
and it's helpful just like in a staff, because as I'm a director, but I'm a staff too, and I have to have all those trainings as well. That just for me, that staff's not having to remind me, but it's this email that says, well, then I can just be like, I'm at home, I'm like, oh, here, click on this link or go to it really quick and finish it
Right.
without really being like
Good point.
myself trying to keep track of it. And email says, hey, you're about to expire. I'm like, oh, shoot, let me get on there really quick. And I can just do it to where Steph and me are not like hounding these girls
Yeah.
over and over again.
Gives the staff you that reminder and then the resource to get it done. The
Correct.
link to the
My
class.
email
Some of
said,
them do, yeah.
Okay.
if it's a PDIS one, it says, please log into your PDIS and complete mandatory. And I'll give them because I know in PDIS, it's called something totally different than mandatory reporter. I'm still stuck in the old language of mandatory reporter. It's now reporting
Recognition
There you
and
go.
reporting of child abuse.
There you go. But it says it in my email. Do this.
Yeah.
Food handlers. Here's the link to click on to get your food handlers class.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, the fire safety, that's how I got my fire safety, is I just clicked the link that they emailed me and I whipped it out really fast.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's one of the things I've tried to do is make my staff more responsible for their trainings, where I'm not constantly doing by the way, hey, you're about to expire. By the way, I've
Right.
also gotten away from being in the building more this past year. I am still there. I'm just not physically there as much.
Yeah.
And, so I'm not physically there. It's not up to Tanya, as she's not true HR in the fact of the back end paperwork part of it, to go, please remind so-and-so, please go get this for me.
Yeah.
Will you please tell so-and-so to complete it?
Right.
This kind of throws that responsibility on them.
Sure. Nope,
So
I agree.
that's the only benefit, but I'm with you. I still have my spreadsheet because I like to be able to be in control of looking in a minute and say, I've got X going down.
Right.
So,
Okay, I gotcha. All right. I like
but
it.
it has helped. I will say it has helped because I have a big old document, which you and I have swapped conversations about this before, Kirk, I have this big old document that explains step by step to a new hire and current employees. Here's the link you click for this. Here's how you get to this. You need this training, click here, go to this website, all that fun stuff. To ask an employee that's been with me more than a month, hey, go to your required trainings and find the fire safety link. They're going to go, huh?
Mhm.
So this email provides that link, as Tanya said,
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea of giving them timely and instructions at that moment when they know it's pressing.
correct.
I
And like I
agree.
said, I walk it down in steps for them. They get 60 days, they get 45, 30, and I keep bringing it down until the final 7-day this is your final reminder. And it says in there, this is your final reminder before you will be suspended for non-compliance of state regulations. And I listed out the rule of the state required regulation, whole nine.
Right.
Or as Tanya freaked out, is like, I'm gonna be suspended. I have it. Like, why? I freaked out. Kind of.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, let's shoot for the end here. We have 15 minutes if we want to use it. Is there anything else on you guys have any notes, ideas, anything else you want to cover? Does anybody have another good hiring statement or question? One of those gems. I always have the train scenario. And I give it to about 90% of employees and I go, okay, you have 2 toddlers. So you're a toddler specialist. They say, I worked in Todd's. All right, perfect. Jack and Jill are playing at the train table. It's you and 5 kids in the classroom. They're playing well. All of a sudden you look over, Jack grabs Jill's train. Jill bites Jack on the arm. Jack cries. Ah! Your instant reaction is Jill. And she looks at you like, she knows she's in trouble. What are you going to do? How are you going to handle this scenario? So again, Jill bit Jack on the arm. He's crying. She's like, you got her attention by just saying her name. Handle this situation from the very beginning to the very end. What would be expected of a toddler teacher in that scenario? And I've literally done this scenario for as long as I can remember, 1,000+ times. And you learn a lot about these teachers, whether they've been in a classroom, been in that situation, they know how to talk to kids. And I'm like, don't tell me what you would say it. So if I have another admin in the office, maybe Nancy's in the office, I go, that's Nancy. This is, or it's Kirk and Jack. Kirk bit Nancy, right? Like, talk to us. How would you say it? Are you going to give hugs? I don't even actually say that. Don't lead them at all. Don't give them any setup other than the scenario. And some of them are like, I'm like, wow, they handle that well. They catch all the things, like, I check it. Here's how I sanitize it with cold water, ice pack. I'm looking for, do you know? Or they're like, oh yeah, Neosporin, and that's about it. We're good. Some of them like, do you think Jill would ever like a hug? Because they're like, okay, you'll be all right, honey. You go over, play over here, and you stop doing that. You go in timeout. And I'm going, okay, this is what I'm working with. So I love this scenario. I've always used it, and I know what I'm looking for. And sometimes I'll handle it better, different, because you're trying to get them to talk, right? So this one gets them to talk. So try a train scenario out with a couple of 2-year-olds. Because when they start using big giant words like, how do you think Jack is going to feel tomorrow wakes up and he looks down and there's a bite on his arm, what's he going to be thinking about his relationship with you, whether he wants to play with you again? I've had him throw out some big words at 2-year-olds. I'm like, would you explain that word to me? Anyway, all right, guys, let's wrap it up. We're out. It's going to get silly and goofy from here on out. So thanks for being here. Appreciate you, ladies. You two are rock stars. Thanks a lot for all that you contributed today. So, okay, guys, see you February. Looks like it's February 8th. See ya. Have a marvelous day, everybody.